and it just sunk so deep in my head to where I just don't make excuses for anything. There's always a way to solve the problem. And every time I hear excuses from people, it's like, oh, like it's like it just makes me want to vomit, because it's like there's no excuses for anything, literally anything.
When people make excuses, even myself, when I'm coming up with excuses inside myself, you know what? The reality is that I promise you can find somebody that had less that's done more than you.
Oh, yeah.
And if you can see somebody else that has had less than you and has done more for you, then you are making a fucking excuse.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you're making a fucking excuse.
Yeah. No, I learned from I have this high school football coach. It was like so pivotal because I was young and I had to work since I mowed lawns. That's what I did through college. That's why my trucks. That's how I took care of myself. Was I did lawns since I was 12.
You come over and help me with my sprinklers.
And
for a long time,
I did sprinklers in college, and I gave myself the name the Sprinkler Whisperer. And I would cruise around on my my scooter with a shovel and sprinkler parts in the little trunk, and because people don't know how to fix a freaking sprinkler head, so like they'd call me because no big guys won't want to show up and like pay to just fix a sprinkler head.
Little handyman job.
But I was like, dude, I'll charge $100 to go like twist out a sprinkler head and twist it in because people don't know how to do a sprinkler head. It was so funny, and I made a killing just doing that, so I could make all my money in the summer doing sprinklers, the Sprinkler Whisperer, and it's it was so fun. But I've always thought what made me like one of the things that made me great was like sorry, I don't want to just scratch that out. I don't think I'm great. One of the things that taught me how to like challenge myself was I had this high school football coach, Coach Beatty, shout out. He every time I made an excuse, like every time he'd literally run across the field and slap me in my ear back when he could actually hit players, Yeah. And it doesn't matter if the ball was anywhere in my vicinity. I can never make an excuse of why I didn't catch the fucking ball. It was like, what could you have done differently? And it just sunk so deep in my head to where I just don't make excuses for anything. There's always a way to solve the problem. And every time I hear excuses from people, it's like, oh, like it just makes me want to vomit, because it's like there's no excuses for anything, literally anything. Like it's you choose it, and so you can either like reflect, say, what could I have done differently? When I sort of expect that out of people too. When I work with them or I'm friends with them, it's like, hey, like there's no excuses. It's like, what can you choose to do differently, and how could you have done it differently? How could you have pivoted? And when you do that over everything all the time, then obviously it gets good. But.
This is the catalyst, I think, where we're hitting the nail on the head with like the catalyst that separates those who are successful from those who aren't. Those who aren't successful, they make excuses. Those who are successful make results.
Yeah.
And the people that make excuses hate the people that make results. And the people that make results hate being around people that make excuses. And so you get this division right now where you'll see guys, they go around feeling sorry for themselves, feel like they're owed something. They'll cast aspersions on people who are successful.
It's this whole like everybody's so envious of the rich guy or some bullshit. It's just like everybody's envious, and you hear this all the time on the gram now, but it's so funny because it's true. It's everybody's so they're envious of what you got, but they're not envious of what it took to get there. All the work and all the shit you got to grind through to accomplish what you have. It's so that's I don't know how to finish the thought. But yeah, where's some more Zins, bro?
I got you, bro. Not Zins because they supported Kamala.
Yeah,
so
we're gonna come up with our own brand.
We're coming up with our own brand.
I'll pick it up later. But yeah, excuse for the birds. Sorry.
We've been around the world many times. We've had our many close calls with making the
not going
voyage
to
of crossing the river of Styx to the other side, dude.
Uh-huh.
Most recently in Kazakhstan, we're riding horses over cliffs and stuff like that in the ice and snow, trying to get some shots on some ibex and some morels and stuff. We were just out there a couple months ago now.
Yeah.
You and I were in a car ride. I'll never forget this. The truck. You remember that truck, dude? My old truck that I had forever. And we're driving down to Salt Lake. We had Stafford, we had Ladd. You had a girl in there. I can't remember what her name is.
Yeah, I can't remember her name is either.
My first wife before we were married, she was in the car. I don't think anybody was in seatbelts.
No.
I'm talking, looking over my shoulder. We're going 80 miles.
DJing always.
DJing and driving with my knees and looking over my shoulder like an idiot kid. Don't recommend it. And I'm talking to one of you guys in the back seat. There's 6 people in this truck. Yeah. And all of a sudden, my first wife, she's slapping my knee. I turn around and all the traffic is at a dead stop, and we're going to smash into this going 80 miles an hour. I can see the heads of kids in the car.
Yeah.
And, dude, I had a hand back here like this. I reach over, grab the steering wheel, don't have time to hit the brakes, pull it over into the shoulder lane.
Tokyo drifted that shit, man.
Dude, it was more than that, dude. Literally, like, people can say God doesn't exist, miracles don't exist. There is no way physically we couldn't hit that car.
No.
And it picked us up, and we were, and it just, like, we didn't swerve, we didn't, all of a sudden we were just in the shoulder.
Yeah.
Flying past all these cars that were stopped. I don't even know why they were stopped, but in the freeway, all the traffic was at a dead stop.
Yeah. Well,
we fly past it, circle around, we're back and drive our way down to Salt Lake. We've almost died, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Many times.
Many times.
well, probably not many times. We've done some dumb shit, but
and I've had a few times where I know I was close.
I thought there's a few times we're going to end up in jail, but we didn't. You know, the best was one that the recent story was so funny. Like, you're sitting there drinking a beer at the table, and all the cops show up in Kazakhstan trying to come and we thought we were going to go to jail. Everybody's panicking at the hotel lobby. Yeah, and you can see they're all worried about because the guides illegally guided us on how to put our guns in the hotel. So then we had this whole investigation to come and take our freaking guns away. But that was pretty funny because Adam was just you were so chill. And just sitting there drinking your beer, just relaxed as all could be. And you could tell these people were like intense and serious. So we just didn't give a fuck. Yeah. We're just like, well, if we go to jail, this will be a really cool story.
Just another part of the adventure.
Yeah, just didn't even care, man. Didn't even care.
I think the reason why I brought up the truck thing and all these different experiences is because one of the things that we have really wrong in society is that men are conditioned to give up their brotherhood for. They're conditioned by society to do that, but then you also have these boys that are doing it willingly because they think what's going to give them purpose is a woman. They're looking for a woman to give them purpose, and this is just one way to fucking be the worst version of yourself, is looking for somebody else to give you validation. The friends that you choose around you are the family that you choose. Yeah. And when you have good friends, to me, my good friends are family now to me. Yeah. They're not like, oh, I give them up for a wife, or my wife is my family too, and she's my queen. But she doesn't like replace my friendship group. Yeah. And I can say without any equivocation that the man I am today is so much because of the friends that I've had growing up. Absolutely. And because we have built so much. And not just that we were friends, but we did a lot of fucking epic shit. Even when we were broke. Yeah. Even when we were coming up through college, we were traveling. We were on overnight trains in India. We were on that bus going up. Remember, like, we were on top of getting ready to like jump off. Dude, that car ride up in the mist, like we're going up to Darjeeling, and we about go off that cliff.
Was it Enrique? It was Enrique on repeat, bro.
A little cassette tape these guys kept putting on repeat. We had to bribe him because nobody drives out the dark because it's dangerous. Yeah. There's no guardrails. You fall off a 3,000-foot cliff. Yeah. And these dudes about drove us off a cliff.
Not once. It was like multiple times.
And all of a sudden the mist clears and you see the cliff and you're like, 6 inches from it in this car. But not that I'm saying just go out and take unnecessary risk, but go out and live life.
You got to take risks.
You got to. Well, that's the point. Like, you got to get out there and you got to, like, enjoy this life. Your purpose in this life is not to live by somebody else's programming. Yeah. It's not to be safe. This is something we get wrong. Your purpose is to, like, make the most out of this fucking life, the best that you can make this into. And I feel like we're in harmony with God's will. I think God's will for each one of us is for us to be the best, most powerful version of ourselves. It's not to fulfill some checklist stuff the church gives you or family gives you or a wife gives you or society or culture. It's to go out and experience this incredible opportunity that God has given us. Yeah. And you and I have done that more than I've done with any of my other friends. We got a lot of close friends. We got a lot of really close mutual friends that I do say are best friends. Like, they're all these homies. But that shit is so profoundly important, and my friendship groups have only got more important to me. And now we're starting businesses together. You know, you've done your business, I've done mine. We still have our separate businesses, but now we're coming together and doing all these collaborations, bringing in the tribe, the brothers in this. And I think this is just one of the biggest pushes I'd push out there for guys listening to this right now is, do not ever give up your brothers. Find good friends. Keep good friends. Be a good friend.
No, that's what. Once I sold my business, that's what, like, the thing that was the most motivating. The most important thing for me at the time was trying to bring all the people, because I had you were doing your thing, Burke was doing his thing, Rico was doing his thing. These are my core. That's my tribe, right? Yep. And I was like, it was my mission just to, like, provide the scenarios and try to create that synergy, because we all didn't hang out. But now that I sort of forced the issue and, like, literally bribed you guys, like, you're coming with me, getting on the plane.
No. You never take no.
I want to take no, and I just forced you guys to come with me. And that was all by design, just because, like, that's what I knew, that's what I needed. Yeah. And it's like, I just need, because I have all these people. I'm like, why am I not doing this with these guys? Like, here I am going. I love going with my family. Don't get me wrong, it's fun, but it's like, it just wasn't as meaningful without my boys. And I didn't like it because Burke was, he's a little nuanced in his own direction. Rico's a freaking Viking killer and in his own way. And you were man, you've been through so much since the divorce and then remarriage. And so it's just been so fun to like, to try to force that. I sort of force on her, but it's like, you're coming. There's no, I'm not taking no for an answer. Yeah. I'm going to make you guys come with me wherever we're going and just.
You are the guy that nobody can say no to, and you just push and push and push. But what people don't realize, who don't know you very well, is that everything that you're doing to push people is to get them better, and you're doing it for benevolent reasons. Yeah. And when I was saying this earlier, like, you need to have good friends around you, but you also have to be a good friend. Yeah. I've never had a friend as good as you at showing up and doing, like, just being there and being a good friend ever. Like, I've got great friends. I got a lot of friends I lean on and guys that have helped me carry the boats. Yeah. But nobody that is on the same level as you. And I say this because I just think, again, how important it is to have friends. Just a couple examples of that is when I was getting remarried, you were insisting on throwing a bachelor party. I'm like, bro, I'm older now. I don't care. But it was like, and I knew on some level it was for you, like you were going to architect something. And I said, look, you wouldn't tell me what it was. I was like, and it had to be and you could only come in town for the night before the wedding. Yeah. So that was the only time we could do this crazy ass bachelor party. And I know you well enough that this shit's going to get wild really fast. So I told you, I said,
this is the last one. I mean, I don't think anybody else is going to get married again. So I was like, hey, if we're going to do this, we never got to have this experience. And it's also because we woke up too from the Matrix and aren't drinking the dumb Kool-Aid. So yeah, we had to have an epic night.
So sure. I said, dude, you got to run it by Kylie, who I'm marrying. And you're like,
I didn't like that, but yeah.
And you did. And then she came back to me and told me she wasn't comfortable with it. And she's pretty permissive. And so, fuck, I should ask for forgiveness instead of permission. So you made some adjustments to it. That goes down in history as one of the most epic nights on planet Earth, dude. Yeah. Absolutely wild. And then everybody shows up at my wedding without any sleep the next morning. I'm at 7 o'clock in the morning writing my vows, dude. Yeah. Trying to get myself in fighting shape.
You're still, you're still, whatever that word is.
And then you whatever that is, you paid for me to go on a honeymoon down to Costa Rica with the tribe. You just got us all on a private jet. We flew down to Costa Rica.
It's also selfish, though. I'm like, hey, honeymoon, we're all going. Yeah, it was fun.
But that's the synergistic thing about having good friends is like you get to do really cool things, and all of it is it repays you. Yeah, you get it coming back to you.
No, man. I mean, I don't understand why it was so important to me, but obviously because I think I didn't have the family background that I wanted, and I intrinsically knew that's what I needed, and I always just knew I needed to be that type of person. That I've always just known I have to be that type of friend, a loyal friend. That's how I sort of got it from the church. I always sort of thought of Hiram and Joseph, which we don't need to talk about that, but I actually I do like that brotherhood bond, like no matter what, ride or die. And as we've been more educated, as we thought through this whole process, and as we sort of tried to create the tribes, and the more and more we talk about, the more we want to spread this wisdom that we've learned through the time and of why it's so important, because we see how it's affected our lives. Like, I couldn't have gone through my shit, my divorce, and my time, and that whole thing without my friends. Like, there's no way. Like, and so I can't imagine people out there that don't have that. And I'm like, damn. So like, I appreciate what you're doing with this. Like, I don't want to do what you're doing. I don't want to be the face of any of that shit. I mean, I barely even want to do this damn podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like I don't care for the attention, because to me, like, it's like I don't like to take pictures. Like, people always get pissed because like I'm on a trip. I'm like, I don't care to take any pictures. Yeah. I just want to like
be in the moment,
and enjoy it. Like, it sort of bugs me when people like want to take pictures and post on Instagram. Honest truth, like it's just sort of like hard for me.
If it's not on social media, it didn't happen.
Yeah, but see, I'm just fuck that shit. I don't care, because I just want to. I live a life that I don't know anybody that lives a life like me.
No, me neither.
And but I don't care to show anybody. I just want to like, it's all for my own self love, my own reasons, I guess. But yeah, that's good.
So yeah. Guys got to have tribes. Guys have always lived in tribes for thousands of years. Is how we've evolved. We run in packs. We're healthy when we're in packs. Yeah. We're unhealthy when we're on islands. And so this is just absolutely imperative. If you want to be a man, you want to be healthy, you've got to have brothers, and you've got to be a brother. We were jamming on this before the show, talking a lot about issues with business and why a lot of people don't get further is because it's so cutthroat. And you have all these people that are like trying to get what they can get for themselves. Yeah. And it would tell me your kind of thoughts on that.
Yeah, well, we were talking about earlier. It was sort of sad. I sort of laugh about it because people, they're so sad that they're not getting where they want to get. But it always comes down to like a lack of trust and a lack of like, and greed and selfishness. Because if you go and do something for somebody, and you expect, and then you start automatically expecting, what am I going to get in return? It's like, instead of just doing it and then and letting the cards fall where they fall. Like, 'cause, I mean, and it's sad, because that's what makes most people not successful, is because they get so for example, I'll give it an example. Just recently, we're trying to do a deal out in Dubai, right? And we have all these different brokers, and because the brokers are all fighting, like, they're trying to deal with hundreds of millions of dollars of how they're trying to do all this stuff and blah blah blah, and they can't, because they're also worried about their little 0.5% they're trying to get of the deal. The deals fall apart repeatedly. And it's all because this stupid little greed monster, instead of just getting a win, they're so worried about the first conversation. What do I get? It's like, man, like, you just got to flow and trust. But that's what, sadly, I feel like sabotages most deals. And most people being successful is greed, and so the fear of not getting what they want. I mean, we've had recent experiences with that, and being like, people, I need all this right now. I have to have it right now. I was like, well, we don't know, but you have to have trust and elevate each other, and know that everybody has the right intent for each other. And I can't remember all the things I said. It was a lot better when I said it earlier, but.
Well, and I think it's kind of this whole idea that when you show up to something, it's not, whether that's a relationship, whether it's a business deal, whether it's friendships, whatever that is, it's not about what you can get out of it. That mentality has to be shifted. Yeah. If you want to be able to really develop and grow and be healthy, you got to figure out what you can give. Yeah. And there are going to be times when you get taken advantage of. You got to learn to be wise. You got to learn how to kind of protect yourself against people that are trying to take advantage of you. But to never be that type of person, because if you are the type of person that is insistent on making sure you get yours, and I'm entitled to this and whatever else, it sours so many opportunities. And I've seen this countless times in my business where guys come on board, we partner with guys, we give them absolutely the most teed up, incredible opportunity for them to take advantage of. And at some point, they're usually early on, a lot of these guys, not all of them, but a lot of these guys will stop putting in the effort and stop coming through on their end of the deal. Yeah. And then we end up being the bad guys because we're like, look, this isn't working anymore. Yeah. And now they feel embittered towards us, and they come up with all these excuses and all these really narrow, limited perspectives that are intensely coming from a selfish point about what they were owed and what they didn't get. And none of them ask themselves, well, why didn't I get it? Yeah. It's because you didn't show up. You didn't fucking show up. Yeah. And if you want to get somewhere in life, you show up. Like, this is one of those life lessons that you just got to remember. You want to be that guy. You want to be on top. Yeah. Then you got to start showing up. And I think about Donald Trump. He talked. Eric Trump was talking about this on the PBD podcast, but he was talking about how these drivers, the Big Don, he would promote from within. He would move guys up from within. He wasn't about pulling over the guy with the degree or with the experience from another company. It was from within. These guys that would have their hands in there. So he'd have drivers. Eric had a driver that would drive him to school and back. Now that guy is running his hotels, is managing his hotels. This guy had no formal education, but every time they needed something done, this dude would have his hand in the air. I'll go do that. I'll go do that. I'll go do that. And
so that's what I did on my first company. Me and Travis started. Is I literally went to Lander Baby Blues.
Baby Blues, shout out.
If you watch this, Baby Blues, I love you.
Love you too.
Yeah, I went to middle of nowhere, Wyoming, Lander, and then we went to Riverton, which is not a pretty town. And I hired this. My first hire was this girl named Mary. And she was she was 6 or 8 months pregnant, pretty much a single mom. And I remember when Travis came up to meet her, we brought her a bunch of diapers. Said, "Oh, thanks for working for us." She was making $15 an hour, working for this doctor's office. And I wooed her over to come over and try working for us. And she literally she's still with that company. After I sold it, she still is the main billing coordinator, making hundreds of thousands of dollars, more successful than any girl in that town will ever be. I shouldn't say that because the town's still a beautiful town, but I mean, she's thriving, right? Yeah. And she worked. I think she was making 12, and she's been she was my right hand woman from the day they get. And then I had another girl named Stephanie that came on. Those two girls helped me build the entire company. We went from literally zero to we were doing $100 million in revenue by the time I finally was done. And they were the two women by my side, and they were just single moms. Crushing it. Well, I guess Stephanie's married, but either way, they did everything, and they elevated themselves. And they didn't have any background in any of it, and they helped me run the entire thing. They were so clutch, and so that's how we did it. It was the exact same way. They didn't have any formal education that way. I mean, Stephanie made quilts for on the Indian reservation, and she made these beautiful quilts, and that's how she was making a living. Then she came over for me. And then she ended up being like the main operator from a whole company across 32 states, you know, in healthcare, which none of us had any background in. You know, none of us. We didn't know shit about it. We just did it. We just figured it out. And so, you know, it's what you're saying is absolutely true.
A lot of guys, men, we are programmed, most of us, to look for to measure ourselves based off of external validations.
Yeah.
So guys will be like, I got to make this amount of money. I got to have this kind of truck. I need to have this kind of house. You know, they got to get this kind of job. So much of this is looking for external validations. The biggest external validation, I'm not exempt from that. I look at those things and find myself like, you know, trying to hit those benchmarks and stuff like that. But I try to put that in its proper place. But I'll say this. The greatest external validation I've ever had are the friends that I collect around me.
Yeah.
And the most important wealth that you'll ever have in this life are relationships that you have with others. Loyalty is a dying trait.
Yeah.
People, like we were talking about earlier, are in it for themselves. They're just trying to get what they can get out of it. And it's such a myopic approach to life, because when you show up trying to be a team player, when you show up with your hand in your air, when you're willing to show up for other people, when you put a priority on relationships instead of on things, not only will you find all the success, my experience, you'll find all the success that you want in life and other aspects, but you're going to be more wealthy than anybody else when you have good, close friends, when you have a good family that's loyal to you and that you're loyal to. It makes this whole life thing just so much more vibrant, more fun.
So fun.
Yeah,
Man.
makes it brilliant.
It just makes such a beautiful experience. I can't even imagine. Like I said, that's what I'm saying. I'm excited that you're doing what you're doing, because I see how we can. Oh, what's the tap mean, bro?
As we're wrapping up, man. We'll close out. We'll close out with this, man. You in life, you don't attract what you say you want. You attract what you are becoming.
Yeah.
If you want to have good friends in your life, you have to make yourself into a good friend.
Yeah.
What are those qualities that make somebody a good friend? And you have to start to become that, and you will attract that. You will begin to attract that. Anything you want out of life, you have to become it first before you get it. And if you get it before you become, it will be a burden and a curse to you ultimately. It will destroy you, because you won't be ready for it. You won't know how to manage it.
Yeah.
But if you can become that, the joy is in the journey, the process. That's what makes everything work, is when you focus on the process, you focus on the development and not on the external validations. That's hard to do. We all still focus on external validations. We look at those things, but put those in your proper place. Stop looking to secure the bag. Stop looking to get that perfect relationship before your life has purpose. Stop looking for any other external validations. Just start putting in the work, get in the process, ascertain what is it that you want to be, identify that. What is it you want, really, really want to get out of life? Start working towards that, and you're going to find all of these things just start to magnetize towards you. Poni Boy, big dog. Glad you made it today, man.
Till next time, right?
Till next time.